We'll wait for the lights. The start lights are called and we are underway for the 2 hours of Suzuka. Team Overturi giving car driver a little booster, and Jammy already looking to try and challenge for the race leader along with Kimi D'Kunde. They're going to make their way into turn one. Drivers not wanting to take too much risk here though on the opening stages, and Jammy tried his best to fight Catalan for the lead of the race but wasn't quite able to do so. Kimi D'Kunde was able to make his way up into P3, and Train Raider has also managed to get into P4. I think a few cars struggling, and there's that tuner from hell going off in the background through the sand. He's having a bit of problems here. There's all sorts of issues at the back. JTR also off going through the sand, and I think that's a C's as well. McKenna Racing being caught up in that incident, and JTR falling all the way to at the back. But you can see Catalan Racing leads from Jammy, then Kimi D'Kunde, Train Raider, Tubi, car driver has fallen all the way down to P6. He's had big issues at the start of this race. Team Overturi and Tuna are fighting in the background, and looks like Tuna has managed to get past Toomey. And he's done that through the S section, I believe, and potentially going for a switchback on the Kanoi racing car and getting past Toomey. Toomey has had a moment, I think, out there with Tuna from Hell. And you can see they've come together, and Tuna from Hell and Toomey have been overtaken by Black Demon. I wonder if Toomey went for some sort of dive bomb or made some sort of mistake out there, but they've dropped down to P7 and P8.
Tuna's have been in the barrier.
Yeah, Tuna's had a huge one. Tuna's bonnet is completely crumpled here. You can see he's got front left suspension damage too. Something's happened to Tuna. And once again, Catalan Racing, it's just like Red Bull in real life. They seem to have one driver that can handle the car and one that can't, making too many mistakes out there. We saw it at Watkins, and now we've seen it on lap 8, 15 minutes into this race, that he can't pull this move up. And if he was daring, he could go for it into deck the one here, and he's got his nose up the inside. This would be a very bold move from Jammy. He goes up the inside of the race leader to make a bit of contact, now heading into deck the 2, but Jammy has managed to pull the move off, and that's an excellent move from the Shadow Racing driver. And now it's going to allow Kimi D'Kunde to try and line up the Catalan Racing cars where he goes quite wide, not quite able to put it off, but there's a little bit of contact and I think a little bit of lag and some desync there, kind of hard to tell. But Kimi D'Kunde not quite able to get through just yet, and Jammy continues his light thrashing, but here goes potentially Kimi D'Kunde. It looked like he might have had a run just for a second there, but he's going to have to wait. But now we will see how quickly can Jammy pull away from the Catalan Racing car, if he can. And Casse decides to come into the pits and change off of his tyres now. So something happening with Toomey in the background and potentially having an incident, but Casse gets out of that melee and decides to change his tyres here on lap 10. So it's 10 laps for the Catalan Racing, and now the Shadow Racing cars will look to extend. It's both Shadow Racing cars coming to the pits this lap, and they will be covering off Matteo Catalan. It's very important how well their pit stops go here. We'll keep an eye on Matteo Catalan, who is now making his way through 130R now. You can see he's already used about 5% of his tyres on this undercut attempt and trying to overtake those two. If Catty can pull this off, then this is a mastermind strategy. He's now just coming down the main straight. What are the Shadow Racing cars doing? You can see they're emerging from the pits now. Let's keep an eye on Kimi D'Kunde as he exits the pit lane now behind his teammate. Catalan Racing has pulled off the undercut, and Kate XR retakes the lead here at the 2 hours of Suzuka. Well, I'll tell you one person who's not struggling. It's Jammy, who has completely closed up to Catalan, and now he's going to go for the lead of the race here. Once again, the undercut for Catalan, only working for a couple of laps, and now Jammy will try it around the outside of Catalan Racing, but he actually goes off the track. He makes a mistake, and he's going through the gravel, and is that in the wall for the Shadow Racing driver? He's gone big, he's gone bold here on lap 14. He's tried to go for the race win. He's just about managed to keep it out of the wall, but he has lost lots and lots of time, and you can see over 10 seconds now is the gap in front of him, and he has undone all of his hard work, and he's going to have to re-go again here. He's got a pretty good run out of it, and he might even try to go around the outside like his teammate did just a couple laps ago. He's going to give Kate a bit of a bigger squeeze this time around, and looks like Kimi has actually managed to get this move done. He does what his teammate couldn't, and on lap 16, Shadow Racing retakes the lead of the 2 hours of Suzuka here, and he manages to get past the Catalan Racing car with ease around the outside of Degda 1. Brilliant move from Kimi D'Kunde. Toomey has got off the track once again, and that's the second Kanori Racing driver in the wall. He's clearly been struggling in the first half an hour there. We do have,
a safety
race
car
intervention here. Yep, so the leader will act as the safety car, and everyone will slow down and drive around at reduced speed. Kate will lead these drivers away for a restart here. So because Jammy and Car Driver came into the pits. They're now P5 and P6. They've got a bit of work to do here and a few cars to get past. He puts his foot down and he puts his foot to the floor to take us away again and start lap 19 and resume racing at the 2 hours of Suzuka here. Kimi Dekunda didn't quite get the jump he would have wanted and isn't quite able to capitalise on the restarts. But everybody else manages to pretty much maintain their order.
Jammy actually looking for a move for Car Driver 2 on the main straight. Will he be able to do that? It is a
2x2 going down the straight. It's Train Raider on the inside, Black Demon on the outside. Jammy looking to the inside of Car Driver. He's going to try and get this move done. Train Raider and Black Demon are also fighting and tangling in front, with Black Demon trying to get a switch back on the Scuderia Treno. And these four have got incredibly detached from the leaders already. And this will be extremely frustrating for Jammy, who is already almost 10 seconds behind the leaders again, just like he was after he made his mistake. He's losing the advantage of having the safety car come out, and he has to try and go for a switch back here on Black Demon, but Black Demon is just about covering the inside. He doesn't manage to go on the inside, but there's a little bit of contact, a little bit of desync, and Black Demon ends up making more contact with Car Driver potentially in the background, and he now drops down to P6. A little bit of rubbing and racing, but Kimi Dekunda is going for the race lead. He's wheel to wheel with Kate as they head into the hairpin. Can Kimi try and force it round the outside? Black Demon has gone off. He's causing a yellow flag in the background, but Kimi trying to go for the race lead, isn't quite able to do it just yet, and Kate once again still covering any doors and shutting the nose off of the Shadow Racing driver. Yeah, I mean, Kimi trying everything here, really squirming around on the coast, but he's had a good exit now, and this could be the run that he needs. He's got his nose up the inside of Kate. Kate has to go to the inside line once again. They're going to go into deck the one. Kimi's going to look for the switchback. He has a huge snap on the exit, potentially some contact, says Vayavi, but he isn't quite able to pull the move off once again, and that is slowing Kate down for Jammy, and that is allowing Jammy to re-get into the fight for this lead. Kate once again defensive on the inside there, but Kimi doesn't quite have the exit. Meanwhile, speaking of straight line speed advantage, the battle for the lead rages on as Kimi actually has a look round the outside. Oh, and there's some sort of desync. There's some sort of contact for Kimi. The front end flies up into the air in a very strange and bizarre way, but he's all over the back of Kate now. It hasn't stopped him from trying to pursue this. Kate on the inside, Kimi on the outside. How will this one play out? Coming down into the high-speed braking zone off turn one. They almost make more contact. Will Kimi look to the inside? They're moving back and forward relative to each other all the time, but Kimi has to stay in P2 once again. And he's going for it again, actually. He's going to go into deck the one. Can he go round the outside? Kate just manages to block it off, but now he's going to look to the inside, and there is definitely some contact there. There's contact between the two, and there's more contact on the exit, and now Kimi and Kate are racing each other really hard. Now coming down into the hairpin, there's more contact. Once again, Kate's on the grass, and Kate's into the sand. Kate from the lead of the race. He's off the track. Is he stuck? Can he get it going again? He makes it back onto the track, but he was pushed wide and put two tyres on the grass, and that was enough for him to slide off the track and lose the race lead. He'll be furious with that. It has cost him over 7 seconds of time, and he now has a huge gap to the leaders and is now going to have to rework to try and gain all that time back. There, the BSA confirms it will be investigated post-race when both drivers are free to talk and can provide their evidence. Kimi comes into the pits. He doesn't speed this time, and he makes way for his teammate Jammy, who will now push in clean air. And we saw the undercut was pretty powerful, so can Kimi Dekunda make some gains on his teammate here? Oh, Tuna's got damage. Tuna's got damage. He's crabbing with his rear left tyre. I think on the exit of Degna 2, he's gone wide, hit the gravel, and then hit the Tech Pro barrier that sticks out. And oh no, disaster for Tuna there. He's actually hit a sticky barrier, and that is going to cost him dearly because he might now have to use a free toe in this race. And there he goes. He uses his free toe almost immediately. Oh no, and now
safety car.
The safety car has been deployed for, well, no reason in retrospect. Let's keep our eyes on the leader and see when he decides to go. And a bit of a... Oh, Jammy! Oh no, Jammy's made a big mistake! Jammy's made a huge mistake while warming his tyres up under the safety car, and he's hit his rival Kate as well. While doing so, he has to use his free toe. And I wonder what the damage is for Kate. Oh, both of them, they both have to use their free toe in this race. That is consequential. I think the restart procedure is cancelled. Everyone's put under full course yellow. The leader is now Kimi Dekunda. And both drivers will now have used their free toe, so they can't have any incidents now. That's huge. Jammy making a huge mistake, and they're almost going to go a lap down here as well. And Yeah, this is huge. What's going on here? Kimi is coming into the pits. They have gone. The leader has gone. So Train Raider inherits the lead after a bit of a weird strategy from the Shadow Racing cars yet again. But he runs wide there, and that's going to allow Car Driver to get an opportunity potentially and set up a switchback on the Trainer car. But Black Demon is looking hungry in the background, and he's actually trying to now switch back the Kanori Motorsport car. But he's got C's up his inside, and C's just has to be careful not to make any contact with Black Demon. And he actually almost rolls over and goes off the track in the background there, as is the right. Oh, and it makes contact. Cizka tries to go up the inside of Black Demon, and they do make contact. Black Demon manages to firm it. A big whack from the rear, and that puts C's now back down the field once again. Black Demon potentially with problems after that contact, and he does run awfully wide, and that's going to allow JTR to get through on this occasion. But a little bit of drama on the restart. Shadow Motorsport once again going for a weird strategy, and he's got the slightly weaker confidence Catalan racing car in front of him, and he's going to go up the inside of Tuna into this corner. And Tuna, unlike his teammates early on, Tuna does not go off the track and spin. Yeah, they're heading up to 130R, and Jamie is looking to the inside, and there we go. Car Driver backs out pretty sensibly. And JTR now comes into the pits as well, so that does let Kimi through. And yeah, easily done for the Shadow Racing car, who now leads again, and Jamie might even also get back up into P4. And let's see as they make their way towards Degnan 1. Will Train try anything? He isn't able to. Wow, hits the curb really badly, and that puts Train into a spin, and he goes into the sand. And well, this is why we weren't watching Train. He's bottled under the pressure and hit the curb badly.
Not in the wall.
No, exactly. That's good. Despite Kanori Motorsport's issues as well, I'd say Car Driver's doing a decent job of staying with Jamie, actually. Oh, what? Is this desync? Something's happened to Car Driver. This might be big desync. Car Driver might have had some sort of computer issue. The wheel has failed. Mechanical failure for Car Driver, who is deep and buried into the wall, and that is understandably an intervention. And Kimi, Kase, Jamie will probably all get a free pit stop from this. And there goes the free toe of Car Driver, who immediately drops down to P8. And will now have much more work to do. And Kimi now puts his foot to the floor, and with just under 40 minutes to go, we will restart the 2 hours of Suzuka. Our big three players are in P1, P2 and P3 in prime positions to attack each other and continue this fight and continue this race. Keep an eye in the background for C's tumbling down the order, potentially with a mistake at turn 1, as that car we know is extremely undrivable and is definitely slower than the likes of GeForce Racing, Scuderia Treno and Top Dog Racing. Let's actually have a look as we make our way down to turn 1. It's Kimi who leads from Kate and then Jamie. And yeah, well, I think Jamie actually has a great chance here, and he's actually on the grass. Yeah, and Jamie up the inside of the Catalan racing car and into 130. He's not going to back out, and they're going to go side by side, and inevitably they make contact, and Catalan heads straight into the wall. Catalan might be out of this race. Huge drama at 130R. He doesn't have a free reset. He's missing at least 2 of his tyres. He's been punted straight into the wall. A full course yellow is deployed, and is that it for Catalan Racing here today? Can AXR with big damage? He can't move. He can't move. So. He's stuck. He can't get it back to the pits. Yeah. He is out of this race unless he can get that one tyre that is still spinning going. Massive, massive drama, and potentially one of our race victory contenders out at 130R after being sent off towards the wall at ridiculous speeds with no control and a big shot into the wall. And I think Car Driver will get another easy overtake on the trainer machine, and that's probably the 3rd time we've seen that today. And into 130R they go. Car Driver essentially backs out. I don't think there was a need for that, and he will now have to re-overtake Train again. Investigated post-race confirmed by the BSA, who note that decision, and Car Driver has once again got Train in the same spot that he always does, and 3rd time we've seen that during this race.
Yeah.
Let's see, is Kase up for speaking? Caesar's gone off. Caesar's gone off while I was checking that. He's had a big one, but he's not got stuck in the barriers, and so he can continue going. And there go those podium hopes of C's, because I imagine he's not going to be overtaking anybody anytime soon. Meanwhile, Black Demon has come into the pits, so he will be overtaken by the likes of JTR, and I think we'll get out ahead of of Tuna from Hill. And so he'll now try and hunt down JTR and try and claim that last place.
Yeah,
it's pretty big that Kate's not won this race. It's actually going to be really close. And look at that. That should be a penalty. Tuna has completely crossed onto the wide. Has he put himself into the wall? He's put himself almost... Yeah, he's put himself into the wall. And Tuna is going to cause an intervention here because he's crossed the pit exit line. He's broken the rules. And, oh no, he's going to keep going. He's going to keep going. But he's crossed the pit exit line. He's almost crashed into train, and then he's gone off and received a full dose of karma by hitting the barrier.
I mean, honestly...
That's it for Tuna. He's in the sticky barrier.
Yeah.
And, I mean, what does race control do? Do they leave it at a full course and just wait for him to be auto-towed? The intervention is already out. So, oh no, they're gonna call it completely. So that we are gonna get
4 minutes.
We are gonna get the end that we discussed and predicted to this one. And it will be dominance in Suzuka for Shadow Racing. They will come up to the line, and it will be Kimi Dekunda who takes his first win in GTWC Season 7. Kimi Dekunda wins the 2 hours of Suzuka. Jamie comes home to make it a Shadow Racing 1-2 and pick up huge points on their rivals in the constructors and in the driver standings. Black Demon manages to get a podium at the end there. I'm not actually sure. I think Black Demon maybe had less penalties than the rest of the field.